It is time for headphone highlights. All right, so before we get into these, I wanted to do a quick a mention. My brain is just not working today. Honorable mention. There we go. Jeez. So last time we talked about these guys right here, the Philips Ship 9500s. And we love them. They're great. So I didn't want to dedicate an entire headphone highlight to these other headphones I have here because there's really not a whole lot to talk about because they're so similar. But it's worth mentioning and worth showing off. So, fumbling around right now. Ship 9500s, the ones we know and love. Ship 9600s. Okay? So, the 9500s have been around for quite a while. They were due for a upgrade. So, Philips came out with the Ship 9600s. SHP 9600s. They are pretty much almost exactly the same in terms of build. They just aesthetically are a little bit different. They got this kind of nice subtle gold ring rather than the lettering and the definition for the drivers and all that kind of stuff. But otherwise, most things are pretty much the same. They still have this metal bracket for the adjusting of the headband. Still have this very soft pad in the headband. It's all very similar. They weigh about the same. They use the same termination for the cable. The drivers, for as what I can tell, seem to be pretty much the same. They might just be tuned a little bit differently. So, the question is, what exactly are you getting with this upgrade? Well, you're getting the aesthetic for one, because as I said before, the 9500s, it's a acquired taste. Either you're into that kind of thing or not. If you just want something a bit more sleek, a bit more subtle, you got these. But they are tuned differently, so that's the difference, really, is they're not significantly different, okay? It's very close. They're very similar. These are just a little bit better in most areas. You get a little bit more low end, a little bit more sub bass. I don't know if I want to say you necessarily get more soundstage. If you do, it's very subtle. But you just get a little bit more with these. So I would say if you have the 9500s, you don't need these, but I think they're neat. It certainly can't go wrong if you don't have either. And you want to grab these, go for it. But just like with the 9500s, you don't want to get them MSRP. Wait until they're on sale. So yeah, SHP 9600, Ship 9600s. They're great. They're kind of my daily drivers for work here at the home office. But that's not what we're wearing today. Yes, they are open back as well. That's yes. How much more expensive are they? You know, that's where the kind of justification for them could be a little difficult because they are a bit more expensive. The 9500s retail for, you know, about $100, a little bit more sometimes. You shouldn't buy them for that much. The 9600s, you know what? Let's just look right now. Amazon. The Ship 9600s are currently going for $88. Not bad. $88. In comparison, the Ship 9500s are going right now for $75. So there's about, on average, a $15–20 difference between the two. So it's kind of up to you. When the 9600s first came out, though, they were like, they were teetering pretty close to $200, which was ridiculous. It was not justifiable at all. So I'm really glad they've come down to be more in line with the 95s, because now it's kind of worth the upgrade now if you want to do that. Yeah, pretty minimal difference now. It wasn't when they first came out. There was a huge difference when they first came out, but right now, the difference is pretty minimal. So what we're wearing today, though, are also a Philips headphone, but they're quite a bit different. These are the Fidelio X2s. I'll bring them up to you. And, yeah, high-resolution Philips Fidelio X2HR. So there's a couple revisions of this. There's just the Fidelio X2s, and then there was the Fidelio X2HRs. There's not really much of a difference between them. I think there's just a little bit of construction variance in terms of the materials used, but the sound's pretty much the same. So whichever version you can get, you're going to get pretty much the same experience. Anyway, yeah, another pair of Philips headphones, and spoiler alert, once again, Philips kind of nails it. These are pretty kick-ass. The build on these is pretty magnificent. Unlike the Ship 9500s, these are metal. You have a nice metal grill here covering the drivers. Looks like the cup here is a hard plastic, but this round bracket around the cup is metal. Then you have these large metal bars that go in and through the headband. And then we have a legit head strap, which, unlike the 9500s and 9600s, doesn't require adjustments. So let me show you this really quick. 9500s, and a lot of headphones do this, where, you know, to adjust the headphone, you have to slide it up and down. What was nice about the Ship headphones is they have numbers indicating, oh gosh, I'll get there eventually. It's a little hard to see. You can see the white stripes maybe, and maybe you can make out a number or two. Yeah, right there, there's a 0. If I pull this out, 1, 2, 3. So that's really, that was really nice with the Philips, because it makes it a lot easier to tell where you want them to be. Sorry, got distracted. It's easy to tell, like, I comfortably wear mine at a 3, for instance. Some headphones don't have markings like that, so it can be difficult to kind of like eyeball if for any reason you get the fitting a little off by, you know, picking them up or whatever. It could be a little obnoxious to try and finesse them again. So what was nice about those Philips is that they were marked. What's nice about these Philips is that you don't have to adjust them at all. This headband is elastic, so it automatically forms to your head. Obviously, it's trying to be a all size fits all sort of system. None I've ever seen have them, so yeah, very interesting. Yeah, the markings, I assume you mean. So yeah, but this, it's assuming to be a one size fits all sort of solution. You put it on and it'll just adjust to you wherever you sit it. For the majority of people, it's going to work that way. If you have a humongous head, might not. If you have a very tiny head, it also might not work. But the vast majority of people, it should work just fine. I have a pretty big head, and this works great for me. They don't have the same gigantic pads as the Ships do, but they're still pretty large and pretty nice. I will have a disclosure here that these are not the original pads. These are Tacony pads, but the original pads are the same overall shape. So they're a good, they're a tight 3-knuckle fit. So they should be able to fit most ears really comfortably. They fit me very comfortably. Yes, I did replace the pads on these. The pads that these come with are fine. They're perfectly serviceable. But these Tacony pads that I got for these are much softer. They're a much softer material. And they offer a little extra dampening to these, which really kind of kicks up the sub bass on them. Makes them a lot warmer, a lot more enjoyable. Not that they weren't to begin with. And again, we got the same termination, just a 3.5mm audio termination for the wire, which means that you can replace this wire super easily. And just like with the Ship 9500s and 600s, you can plug a v-mota microphone into this and turn it into a gaming headset. Easy as that. So the headband is very comfortable. The ear pads are very comfortable. They are a little tiny bit on the heavy side because of the materials. But because of the way it fits around you, you don't feel like there's a weight coming down on you. If anything, I would say there's more clamp force than there is weight. Which is why, again, having these softer pads helps. Because the clamp on these, it's not severe, but it's there. So in our cloud comfort scale, first of all, freaking dumbass me forgot to rate these on the cloud system scale. Lady Marslander gave these a 9, maybe even a 9.5, I don't remember. They are really, really super duper comfortable. So I'm going to rate them on our cloud system. I'll give them a solid 9. I'm going to go with a 9 because they really are that comfortable. They are crazy, crazy comfortable, with the caveat that they are loose on your head. So they will potentially rattle or fall off your head. These, not so much. These have the clamp force that those do not have, so they stay on your head. That does affect the comfort a little bit. So with these, though, they're more comfortable than the Sennheisers. They're more comfortable than the Bear Dynamics. Agree with your wife, smart man. Of course. I mean, you gotta agree when she's right, and she's always right. So it's really easy to agree. Anyway. Yeah, they are more comfortable than the Sennheisers. They are more comfortable than the Bear Dynamics. I would give these... if the Ship 9500s are a 9, I would give these... Okay. With these custom pads that I have, these Tacony pads, they are a 8 out of 10. Very, very comfortable. If I had the factory standard pads that these came with on these, it'd be 7.5. Okay. I guess I should mention a downside to these is, while the pads are swappable, they have this kind of proprietary clipping mechanism. You see these nubs here all around? First of all, there's the driver right there. Nice big 50mm driver. But these nubs here are where the ear pads clip on. So you can't really just go out and buy yourself a standard replacement ear cup. You have to get ear cups that either have that proprietary clipping mechanism, or ones like these Taconys that, you know, have just like some holes in them to put those pegs into. These do have an adhesive back, M3 adhesive, to really kind of get on there. I don't even bother with that though. They sit on there perfectly snug and tightly. I don't need them to have them permanently glued to the headphone. I don't want to do that, and I don't need to. So they just kind of snap right back in. You have to kind of finagle it a little bit, but there you go, back on. So yeah, with the ear cups, with these pads, 8 out of 10 comfort. Very comfortable. Sound. These are everything I've shown so far, with the exception of the DT177Xs. Those are kind of in a category of their own for being just sub-bass murder machines. But in terms of everything else I've shown so far, honestly, these are kind of the first step we've had so far in these headphone highlights that I would say really starts to enter hi-fi audiophile grade sound. These are remarkably detailed and have really impressive imaging, and couple that with the soundstage that they have and their impressive low end. It's a real entry into that world with these. You put these on, and these are, if I were to, every other headphone I've shown you so far, again with the exception of the DT177Xs, if I were to take them off the shelf and plug them into a phone and have you listen to them, you might say, oh yeah, these sound really good. These sound better than maybe my whatever standard earbuds or headphones I have at home. But you might not be particularly super impressed. You might not be very sold on this whole audiophile thing. I think that these would be the first ones to be like, ooh, yeah, there's something special there. These just kind of bring out more presence than everything we've seen so far. They're not as analytical, again. They're not as analytical as the Sennheiser HD6XXs. Those are very neutral still. Those are a lot more analytical, so if you want to have your straight line, I am an audio mixer, I want my audio to be precise, that's still, the range you want to go. But in terms of just kind of sitting back on a big soft couch with the music that you really love to listen to, not just to analyze, but to listen to, this is kind of the first set that we've had on the headphone highlights so far that I would say would really bring that out. Really kind of, you'll feel the fullness, this fullness of your sound. You're going to hear things in the music that you probably haven't ever heard before because of the detail retrieval on these. And this will be probably the first time where you're going to hear low, powerful bass without it really muddying the music, right? Because that's always the problem with really bassy headphones, is that they really muddy everything. It drowns out the detail, it drowns out the mid-range, it drowns out the high end, it drowns everything out so that you can have that big boomy bass. That sounds incredible. Yeah, these sound pretty phenomenal. And you'll hear these get recommended. Am I wearing these backwards? I am wearing these backwards. So when you don't have the big giant L and R printed on them, it makes it a little bit more difficult. There's my L right in there. I don't know if you can see it. So whatever. I should have known better. Anyway, yeah, these sound really, really great. And if you're looking into, if you were to start researching entry, I want really great sounding audiophile headphones, where do I start? These are probably going to get mentioned quite a lot, especially if you're not worried about something that's really, really neutral and really, really analytical. You just want something that's very relaxing and enjoyable, and that's going to really make you kind of have a different experience with your music than you've had before. So these are really going to be the entryway for that. They sound great. They sound pretty amazing, especially for their price range. These MSRP for, I think, $300. I wouldn't recommend them going out and buying them for $300. These, like everything else, these are on sale a lot. You can get them for a lot less. For kicks and giggles, let's see how much they are right now on Amazon. Fidelio X2. Yeah, $150. So half off right now. And $150, that's a good deal. I'd say that's a good buy. For getting headphones of this quality and caliber for $150 is pretty amazing. Few headphones in general reach the kind of position that these have in terms of the sound and the quality of it, let alone for $150. So yeah, these are a great entry into this whole world. Okay, yeah, they're a bit big, they're a bit clunky, then it's Philips, so no one's going to be very impressed. Be like, yeah, man, I got some Philips headphones. No one's going to be very impressed. No one's going to think that, oh, yeah, what a flex you got there. But if you really want to start experiencing quality sound, this is a great place to start, especially if you just want that warmer, relaxed thing. Warmer and relaxed kind of feel. And gaming in particular, these are phenomenal for gaming. I use these for gaming very frequently. They're great for gaming. Really brings out the immersion because of the just the quality of the sound in it. It's very theatrical, very cinematic and large. It's so large. Everything sounds so huge with these. So yeah, highly recommend them. Philips, Fidelio, X2s. If you want to get the HRs, that's fine. I think the HRs have pretty much replaced the regular X2s. It's not really going to matter which version you get. They're going to sound the same. Another honorable mention, there are Fidelio X3s. Okay, a predecessor to this. I don't own them. I would like to. I'd like to own them, and maybe one day I will own them so I could try them out and everything. But they're, right now anyway, a little pricey. So I've been waiting, and I'm going to continue to wait until they really drop down, because they are double the price for these, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to be twice as good. So I wouldn't go jumping on X3s right now unless you just really love the way they look. They do look, unlike with the shipped 9500s and how the 9600s look so alike. The Fidelio X3s do look quite a bit different from these. It kind of looks like Amazon Echoes on the side of your head. It's a little funky looking, but if that's like an aesthetic you really like, go for it. But otherwise, paying twice as much as these for what's going to be slightly better sound, potentially. I haven't heard them, so I don't know. I wouldn't say it's worth it, but these are definitely worth it. Fidelio X2s. They're fabulous. Okay. Let's get back to it